Hey folks, Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for another direct-to-YouTube special. This one starts kind of as a story. So my friend Brian, Bosch and Roll, did a video the other day where he played a sort of all-in Mystic Forge Affinity deck. And Sean watched this video and said, man, when I saw all of those high-costed things, I was hoping we were going to transmute Artifact into God Pharaoh's statue. And then, later that day, I received a donation for exactly that. So, Sean's plan here is to play a Turbo Affinity deck that has the option to just completely slam a Lights Out card in God Pharaoh's statue. So many decks just, are not going to be able to deal with a tax of 2. Like, a Thalia is bad, but this is like 2 Thalias stapled together. That's also a win condition. So it's pretty dangerous. Now, in putting together this deck list, I waffled a lot on how many copies of this I can actually play. And the reason I'm so unsure about this is because of the mana base. So we're playing a couple of new cards here. Mistvault Bridge is another blue artifact land, and that's awesome. So we want to cast a blue card. So we have 7 blue artifact lands, 4 Lotus Petal, 4 Mox Opal. I think I can support 2 of these, but there are some matchups where if I get a God Pharaoh statue into play, I just win. And so I put a third one into the sideboard. I don't think that this deck can support a full playset of this card, and that's partially because it's hard to cast, and partially because it's something that kind of stops you from just casting a whole bunch of free stuff off the top of your library with Mystic Forge. And because you're running a whole bunch of colorless lands, including some other ones that are artifact lands, I don't know how deep to go. 2 feels like about the right number. Now, we have a whole bunch of the actual factual affinity cards in this deck list. We have Frogmite and Mirror Enforcer that you're probably familiar with, and then Sojourner's Companion is a new one. It's basically Mirror Enforcer, but it also has artifact land cycling, because hey, we needed to power creep even Mirror Enforcer, a very iconic card. Okay, as far as the sideboard goes, Brian had suggested running Plague Engineer, and I think that is a great card in a vacuum, but I was worried that I wasn't necessarily going to have enough colored sources for it, and I also wanted to make room for something else that wasn't in the original deck list. I saw Nettlecyst as something that was probably going to be really good in here. So for the times that God Pharaoh's statue isn't going to be great, like say against, I don't know, Death and Taxes or something where they have an Ether Vial, I wanted to be able to just sideboard in a generic card. And I thought Nettlecyst would sort of fit the bill for something generic that I could side in for times when I didn't have something that I specifically wanted to sideboard in. Okay, I think that's all I have to say about this one. Oh, hold on. We didn't talk about the best card in the deck. Thought Monitor is crazy good. This is a 2/2 affinity for artifact flyer, so it trades with Delver. And when it ETBs, you draw 2 cards. So we have 8 different Thoughtcast effects in the deck, and between 8 Thoughtcast effects and Mystic Forge, we should be able to keep the gas flowing very consistently. Alright, I think it's time to do some fighting. Anyway, please throw me a like before the video starts. That's one of the best ways to support my content for free, and it's one of the biggest predictors of video success here on YouTube. All right, let's battle, and if you want to try out this deck later, remember donation information and the deck list is always in the video description. Okay, here we go for round 1. We're going to go fast. I need to do some quick math. So City of Traders plus Grim Monolith. I have 1 mana left over after casting the second Grim Monolith. I have 2 mana left over plus this. That gets me to 4 mana, so I can Frogmite on turn 1. And then on turn 2... I'll have 2 mana plus 3 artifacts in play. That's okay. 6. But if I make the land drop, then that's 7. And then I'll get Thought Monitor the following turn. Okay, we've got a plan. Go fast. Okay. So Frogmite costs 2. Wait, I can't do this, can I? No, it costs 4 as of right now. That's fine. Like, we waste, quote unquote, waste some mana here. But I think that's fine. Like, we're making a 2/2 on turn 1 into a 4/4 on turn 2 into a sick play on turn 3. Oh no, my beautiful cards. I assume I lose Thought Monitor here. Oh no, we have lost our play for next turn. We lost the Sojourner's Companion. Alright, I guess I need to play this artifact land to work towards being able to cast this. I could untap a Grim Monolith. I don't know if I need to do that. Like, I think I just want to work towards having the blue mana. I'm not sure, though. First matches with a deck are always a little weird while I figure things out. Speaking of a little weird, Bayou into Plateau is all sorts of weird. Okay. So, conceptually, I feel like we're playing against Jund, but Plateau, though. Tribal Flames? Question mark, question mark, question mark? Okay, yep, the Thought Monitor indeed goes down the drain. Alright, Ancient Tomb, Mox Opal, crash in for 2. I'll probably take 2 damage to untap my Grim Monolith. My artifact count is at 5, but if I draw the 4 mana thing that lets me... Oh, Domain, okay. Power and toughness equal to the number of land types. Okay, when it attacks, you can loot or exile a card from a graveyard. Sure, that's fine. Excuse me? I said it was fine, but it's a 5/5 on turn 3. That's pretty legit. All of a sudden, I'm less sure about untapping this Grim Monolith that I'm about to untap. I'm still doing it, but I'm scared. Yeah, the whole double Thoughtseize really kind of shredded my hand. And without my Thoughtcast effect that I was really relying on to like refuel and keep going, we didn't do a lot here. Like, I probably just get like a Frogmite bolted, my opponent crashes in for 6, and then the following turn they probably kill me. Stomp. Seems good. So I'm going to lose this Frogmite. And, well, that's not going to the graveyard, so that doesn't actually increase the count for Dragon Rage Channeler. This cares about Delirium. My opponent's deck is going to care about a lot of things if they're caring about, like, Delirium and Domain. It's a bunch of weird resources to manage. Plateau from the opponent. Oh, now what? Oh, no. Lightning Bolt me turns on Dragon Rage Channeler. And in all likelihood, unless I hit something absolutely sick and just go off, I probably just die next turn. Take 8 here, followed by another 8. That's 16. Assuming my opponent can get out a couple other points of damage. Like, that's just it. Oh, and the Territorial Kavu, like, loots, fueling Dragon Rage's Channeler. Yeah, I like it. I like it. I'm not going to untap the second Monolith here. Alright. This costs 2. I am going to tap Grim Monolith, because I don't want to take damage and I don't want to use my colored mana in case I draw more Thought Monitors. And like, this is the turn where the magic happens. Oh baby, we're going. I'm gonna play this for the artifact count, I think. Here we go. Thoughtcast. Am I still alive? I'm still alive. I'm not in great shape. My opponent's cards are just bigger than mine. Oh, right. I just got excited and started casting cards. I shouldn't have done that. I also should have untapped a Grim Monolith there. Alright, I need to slow down by 10% here. This attack scares me. Like, this just feels like I'm about to get lightning bolted. I probably need to take the 5/5 off the table, but then there's a 3/3 flyer that I can't block super well. I also just might get blown out by a removal spell. But it is what it is here. I just don't think I'm coming back from the life total deficit that I made early on anyway. Alright, Bayou into... what thing? Just a Bone Crusher? Just a Bone Crusher? Chalice is not going to do it. I've got 2 lethal attackers here. I only get to block one of them. I will be conceding. Opponent's deck is sweet. Sideboard time. Alright, so first off, how do I feel about the God Pharaoh statue? I feel like my opponent is going to be on board early, and I don't have time to mess around with this. I also feel like Thorn is not great. Like, my opponent seems to have a lot of creatures. So let's maybe go these things that kill creatures in, and I kind of want the Nettle Cysts. I'm not sure how I feel about Chalice of the Void. Like, Chalice of the Void can stop some of the Lightning Bolt type stuff, but I bet my opponent has a good amount of stuff at 2 mana, so this isn't a lights out card either. I wonder if I'm supposed to go down on the number of Chalices that I'm playing, but not cut them. I think I am going to do that. I'm going to play 2 Chalices and then board in these 2 Nettlecysts that I'm excited about. I think I like that idea. Okay, I have my opening hand for game 2 here. I have 3 Ancient Tombs, which is probably not ideal to start with, and I can't really play anything. I can do a turn 2 Nettlecyst into like a Frogmite or something, but I only have 2 mana, kind of 3 for Frogmite on turn 1. I think I mulligan this hand. How's this second hand? Second hand goes Artifact Land, Petal. That's turn 1. Turn 2 it goes Artifact Land. Then Frogmite is 1 mana. Actually, what do the Grim Monolith lines look like? Turn 1, Seat, Petal, Monolith. Frogmite costs 2. I probably would just save Grim Monolith to do a Mystic Forge on turn 2. Let's play towards that. I think I will go ahead and do that. Alright, let's keep this hand. I'm gonna be really cold to a Thoughtseize taking Mystic Forge, though, that's for sure. I don't know there's much to be done about that. I'm gonna put back Mirror Enforcer. And let's see how this goes. Alright. Seat. Petal. Monolith. Alright. Pass the turn here. Got Mystic Forge next turn, and then hopefully all sorts of shenanigans. But again, Thoughtseize is just damn good here. Fuck. Oh. That's doing me dirty right there. Alright, so first match will be like 2 minutes for the folks watching on YouTube. I'm not really dead, because theoretically I can like loop a Mystic Forge into play and just accidentally my deck. But damage is done. Alright, Artifact Land and pass the turn. And we'll see what my opponent can do. Scrubland into Bob. Yep, I continue to believe that my opponent's deck is sick. I'm just going to be passing the turn here. Badlands flipped off Bob. Badlands flooped into play. I'll end up taking 2 damage here to go to 18. And then my opponent gets a Bone Crusher Giant. We'll play another turn or 2. Again, like, the dream is to just hit running lands for Mystic Forge. Tribal Flames, good god. I might just, like, die next turn. Just straight up might die. Which Triome is this? Yes, Sky. Triome. Go to 12, take 6 more, and then Tribal Flames kills me. Strong. Yeah, don't get to Tribal Flames for 2, but, let's pretend. Let's pretend for just a moment that we're not dead, huh? My opponent's deck has fucking adapted to Affinity, that's for sure. So as of the time that I'm recording this on Sunday the 6th. Affinity just really crushed in events this weekend. Probably the reason why Force of Vigor and Gutshot are there. And then I die to the known information. But like, damn, opponent. Your deck ruins me. Okay, we're here for round 2 now. I'm going to be keeping this opening hand. It's a little weird because it's not like absolute turbo, but it has a Chalice of the Void, which is pretty good in the dark when you don't know what your opponent is doing. And then we have like Grim Monolith to get us to these first couple of cards. We have a handful. Elvish Spirit Guide? Chalice. Fair. I don't care about that, but it seems like our opponent is playing something like Sylvan Plug. Alright, so now that I know that like Chalice is a thing on the other side of the table, I will go ahead and go Grim Monolith. I could just cast a Frogmite. Where does that get me? Does that get me to a better spot than just saving my mana? So then I have 3, 4, 5, 6. I probably just wait on this Frogmite. It's probably free next turn. I don't know that I need to go balls to the walls here. I also could like Chalice of the Void on 2. Alright, just a forest from my opponent. Alright, Deuter. So there's Artifact Land. 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I can just start casting cool stuff. Let's cast this. +5, that's fine. I will just make my 4/4. And then You're not free yet. What are you? You're still 4. That's fine. I will pay 1 for you. And then next turn we can start going in on the Thought Monitor type of stuff. I made 6 power on turn 2. That's like Delver levels of power. I'm very happy with that. The next turn I have 3 mana. Kind of like 6 mana. Kind of like 7 mana. Yeah, I think I'm going to play Thought Monitor to start off next turn. And then go from there. Prismatic Vista is interesting. Ooh, I like this. I think I'm going to play my stuff pre-combat. I don't really know. Specifically, I want to play my stuff pre-combat because I don't want to like lose one of these creatures to endurance in combat. And then like get blown out and then have my stuff be more expensive. Yeah, notice how this set has been out for just a couple of days and I'm already just playing around endurance because that card is fucking bananas. How much are you? Can I cast you? I can cast you for 1 mana. That's pretty legit. Alright, get in there. New 4/4. I have 1 mana left. I don't want to play this on 0. Get Thoughtcast next turn. Maybe God Pharaoh Statue. Kind of see where the mana situation takes us. I will go ahead and attack with the Frogmite in. If I lose the Frogmite, I lose the Frogmite. How does he know? How does he know it's there? Yep, that's fine. Now this thing does have reach. That's one of the many lines of text on this card. It's pretty sick. Once upon a time. That's fine. Getting a Shifting Ceratops. Trinisphere. Alright, now we have to do like Trinisphere Thoughtcast stuff. That's not the best. Well, I think we just cast this. Just straight up cast the God Pharaoh statue. And then I can bash in with these 4/4s. Yeah. Oh baby. That's a good one. Alright, so we are playing against what I guess is Sylvan Plug? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Like, opponent's playing something spicy, that's for sure. I think I want these cards, without knowing exact details of what opponent is doing. I don't want Thorn, so that gets the first one of these. Do I want Transmute Artifact for God Pharaoh Statue? Like, my opponent just scooped to it? But I do sort of wonder if, like, the way that I normally beat my opponent is by just crashing in with large-ish creatures. I'm legit not sure. Oh, I don't want Chalices. Okay, JK. So, taking the Chalices out gets me those cards. And then I can play one of, like, Ratchet Bomb or the 3rd Transmute. Maybe I'll just play the 3rd Transmute. I'm not sure if that's better than Ratchet Bomb or not. Okay, let's do some quick math. Ancient Tomb, Lotus Petal. I can cast Frogmite on turn 1, and I'll have 3 effective mana on turn 2. I'm not sure that this hand actually goes anywhere. I have 4 7-drops. That might be a bit much. Okay, what about this hand? Ancient Tomb, Grim Monolith is 5 mana on turn 2, which is kind of like 7 mana. Yeah, so I get a 7-drop on turn 2. This is fine. I'm going to be keeping this. And is it the Thoughtcast that goes back? Do I just keep the beef? Maybe correct to just keep the beef here. Unsure. It could be that Frogmite is medium here. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 6. That's 7. That gives me a 7-drop on turn 2. Then the second 7-drop is harder. Maybe it's the second 7-drop. Okay, I will buy that. All right, Forest to start things off, and pass. So second Frogmite is kind of cool if my opponent doesn't actually have Endurance. But I'm terrified of that card. It eats my little frog friends, and their art's so cool. Second land. Spirit Guide, Tireless Tracker. Legit. That will also probably wall my creatures. Alright. I need this blue source. Need you. Is it better to Frogmite first? The first Frogmite costs 2 mana, the second Frogmite costs 1 mana, then I'm 1 mana short of you, so no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You. I will check myself. I control 3 artifacts. So this stuff isn't free here. I'll just be passing the turn. Next turn I probably go just absolutely ham, though. Yeah, okay. I will just always yield to that tireless tracker. Opponent is holding up 4 mana. That's Force of Vigor mana, which is a little scary. Alright. So, what's my sequencing? I play land. And then I think I play the Frogmites out here. The first one costs 1. Second one is free. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're not free yet. Let's Thoughtcast. Mystic Forge. Oh, damn, I'm 1 mana short of Mystic Forge. That's super unfortunate. We'll Mystic Forge next turn. That's okay. Okay, so it's combat time. My opponent can crack this clue and then trade with a card that I paid 5 mana for. I don't think I care. Alright, Force of Vigor is tough. But, like, I have Mystic Forge, and Force of Vigor didn't eat my Mystic Forge. So I'm good with it. Tireless Tracker will get Swole. Once Upon a Time is a good follow-up. Getting just a Forest. That's okay with me. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to trade Frogmites if my opponent attacks. And I think they're also unsure. They're holding back. That's fair. I think I don't play the Grim Monolith first. I think I just go with Mystic Forge now. Here we go. Mox Opal. Cast it. Thought Monitor. Are you 1 yet? Oh, you are 1. Oh, baby. Now we're going. Now we're going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think this is also free. Second Mystic Forge. I don't really want that. Just exile that. A new Thoughtcast. I can only play these if they're colorless, right? Yeah, artifact spells and colorless. Okay, so I can't actually do this one. That's okay, because I can just new Thought Monitor. We'll just draw that one outright. Getting a Seat of the Synod would be sick, so I can, like, just chain that as well. Oh, new. Oh, baby. Here we go. Here we go. This is crazy. Right? So glad I'm recording. I will keep this Mox Opal. I will Thoughtcast. Lol. A Transmute Artifact. Well, that is going to be sick. I don't think I get to do that this turn. Frogmite. Cast you for free. I think I've done all the damage that I can do in this turn. Wait, hold on. Have I not made my land drop? I've not made my land drop. That's fine. I just want more blue mana. Okay, so I didn't end up playing that Grim Monolith. I think that's fine, because I ended up using the colored mana. Thought Monitor is fucking broken. Card is sick. Alright, opponent is tapping their city. They don't get a big threat into play this turn. Getting the God Pharaoh statue probably just wins. Okay, so there's a forest into a clue token. Elder Gargaroth. Okay, that does have reach and is slightly annoying. Okay. I don't know that my opponent really gets to attack into all this bullshit. Okay. So let's cast some things for free off the top of my library. Dismember is sick. I can't draw that. It wouldn't be sad to have it, because then I can, like, block and kill this. But I think I'm just supposed to try and keep going? Question mark? Because I can also get a shuffle off Transmute. Try to keep going. Oh, we can just, like, find the God Pharaoh statue that way too. 1, 2. Yeah, I could just cast that. Is it good? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Probably good. And if this thing attacks, I just block it with a whole bunch of creatures, and then that's totally fine for me. That's a weird one. I think I go ahead and go for it. Let's go 3, 4, 5, 6. Just cast this. Go for Lotus Petal. New Mystic Forge. Needs to hang out there. Unless I just transmute one of these things into another Thought Monitor. That works, right? Yeah, I can just transmute one of these into another one of these. That seems legit. Let's just Thought Monitor for Thought Monitor as a way to shuffle. Alright. 1, 2. Sacrifice Thought Monitor. Get Thought Monitor. Turn Transmute Artifact into a draw 2. We hit 3 lands there. That's okay. I think I just go ahead and pass the turn. And Godpharaoh statue does a little bit of draining. Was this each end step? No, at the beginning of my end step. Okay, so this whole Transmute Artifact thing might be better than I thought it was because of the specific interaction of like transmuting one of these into a Thought Monitor, so that each one of your Transmute Artifacts becomes just a weird draw 2 that blinks your fuck. Nathan, please. That hurts. Alright, so I will obviously need to take this thing off the table. This is a 6/6. Actually, I probably just want to keep my 4/4 and trade away 3 2/2s here. Because the 4/4 will just profitably block oof forever. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Okay, well, cast some stuff off the top of the library. I want this? Question mark? Oh, well, I guess I can't cycle with Mystic Forge anyway, so that's a moot point. Yeah, this is all a little strange. Guess we'll increase the artifact count for if I draw Nettle Cyst. I think that's the name of it. Alright. I need to leave some number of creatures back. I'm not sure how many to attack with. The flyers are free. I think I leave back both 4/4s. Yeah, I think I'll leave back both 4/4s. Oh, also, like, I don't have blue mana. I think ever. Because my seats and these bridges are both artifact lands, and the petals are too. So I'm going to be ticking away at my opponent's life total slowly with this Godpharaoh statue. So I don't need to, like, attack my opponent too much. I play you. What's the wording? Make cast. Okay, can't do that. I think I'll make the same attack as last turn. Endurance is a thing. I don't think I get to play around it. I think I need to put the pressure on. Oh, Endurance is not a thing. It costs 5 currently. I guess Endurance Elvish Spirit Guide is a thing. So something I just thought of is that my opponent's Collector Oof does turn off their clue tokens. So they don't get to draw towards other outs here. That's neat. Okay, so opponent goes to 9, and then Godpharaoh statue will drain them down to 8. Oh, I think I forgot to play a land. It doesn't really matter. My lands aren't so much with the producing of mana right now. There's a clue token. An opponent still can't really attack. I can pay 2 life to cast a Grim Monolith. I don't know that that's actually good. I think I'm going to make the same attack as last turn again. Endurance is live now. Alright, here they come. Okay, opponent is going to 7 here. That probably means Endurance. Does mean Endurance. Okay, they've funneled their own cards into their deck. Okay, opponent goes to 5. Got a 4 off the Godpharaoh's trigger thingy. Trigger. Guess I'll play this. I don't want to take damage to get the Grim Monolith off the top of my library, though. I don't think that's worth it. Like, there's some worlds where my opponent attacks in with both of these creatures. I don't know exactly what my opponent's game plan is. They're not sure either. They're kind of clicking back and forth on the creatures. Alright, you attack with Endurance. I'm not sure what that means. Like, I don't know what tricks my opponent can have, but I think I have to block. It's possible I should double block here. I don't know what ridiculous sort of pump spell my opponent might have. My opponent has like some sort of +3/+3 spell. Or +4/+4 spell. It's fine to double block. Opponent says, oh, it doesn't fly, I'm dumb. Oh, okay. Are they just going to concede there? Yeah, they're just going to concede there. GG's, Nathan. GG's. Alright, next round, I'm going to be keeping my opening hand. I just have a turn 2 Mystic Forge, which is sick, and probably good enough to keep a hand based on the strengths of Wooded Foothills. Maybe Delver. Elves usually doesn't Wooded Foothills pass. Okay, if it's Delver, do I actually want to lead on the Ancient Tomb? Probably not. I probably just want to lead on an indestructible land. But I have so many lands that if they just like wasteland me and that's their turn, I don't actually hate that. I'm going to go ahead and do this. The biggest advantage to playing the Mistvault Bridge early is just that it's indestructible and it enters tapped. So like, Aiga. Are we playing against more like domain shit? What is this? Ooh, food chain. Alright, so we're both going to go fast. Transmute Artifact. I go faster. So if I can get a big 7-drop into play, I can just transmute for my win. Well, not my win, but the God Pharaoh statue should tutor my opponent pretty good. Alright, let's go for just slamming the Mystic Forge off 2 lands here. Grim Monolith. That's unnecessary currently. I'm going to go ahead and try to high roll and hit some more 0-drops here. New Mystic Forge. I'll probably get rid of that in my upkeep. I'll cast this. I only control 2 artifacts, so I'll be passing the turn here. Let's see if I die. Arid Mesa, Fetch, Goblin, Anarchaeomancer. Okay. Each spell you cost that's red or green costs 1 less to cast. Okay, sure. Alright, so upkeep. Let's exile that secondary Mystic Forge. A Thoughtcast. Sure. A Thorn. Thorn's not bad. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana this turn. So this currently costs... Okay, well, I can make it cost less by playing Seat. Okay, so I go Seat. Now you cost 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Just cast that. So I could get greedy, but I don't think I'm supposed to do that. Let's just do the thing. Transmute Artifact. Sacrifice the 7-drop. Find God Pharaoh's statue. Loop that into play. Hit Lotus Petal as a bonus. Alright, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Means I can go ahead and lock in the value of this Thoughtcast and cast it for 1 mana. Finds a new Chalice of the Void. I don't think I want to cast... Well, actually, how many things does that shut off in my deck? How bad is that? 3 Lotus Petals and a bunch of Mox Opals? Ah, no, the Mox Opals are pretty good. I think I'll go ahead and end my turn here. Dome them for 1 with God Pharaoh's statue. And then figure out how to make this smaller. Wooded Foothills? Then I'll take 2 from this. That's just it. I'm gonna go ahead and exile this, I think. I want business. Okay. Cast the Mox Opal. Now I control 1, 2, 3, 4 artifacts. So Thoughtcast Cat is cheap. Thought Monitor is also cheap. I can make it cheaper if I'm willing to play a tapped land, which I think I am. Let's go tap land, Thought Monitor for 2 mana. I think I will tap Ancient Tomb despite the fact that my life total is a little low. Revealing Frogmite. I'll be very happy to just cast some free Frogmites. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, so many frogs. We're done? We're probably done here. Don't want a Chalice on 0. Go ahead and call it there. And my opponent will lose another 1 to God Pharaoh's statue. There's probably thin their library unless there's another color. Oh, there is another color. There's black. I don't know exactly what my opponent's deck list looks like, if we're being honest here. I've never seen a food chain list with this card, because this is a brand new card as well. Forest. That's probably it. I don't know how low I can keep going with this, but I don't want this card. Thorn is legit. Am I playing around Endurance? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Sequencing was suboptimal there. I should have played this Mox Opal that was in my hand first. Who's out on a mana for doing that. I'm going to turn all of these sideways. If opponent has Endurance, they have Endurance. Narrator's voice. They did not have Endurance. What's the rest of my turn look like? I just like don't know what I'm playing around here. So that makes my decisions regarding this Chalice and the tapping of the Ancient Tomb kind of difficult. I think I'm going to play Seat. Nah, I should have played the bridge. I should have played the bridge. Alright, opponent goes to 4. They should theoretically have lethal next turn. I don't know, maybe I can still die to the combo if my opponent plays a second Goblin Anarchaeomancer. I don't know. Alright, so my opponent tapped and untapped their lands a whole bunch of times before they finally figured out the cost paying. Goblin Ringleader, which hits... Oh, this is Food Chain Goblins. Oh, this is a Goblin. Okay. So that got exiled. Cavern. Sure. So that's 5, 6. Why were they able to cast that? Shouldn't that cost 8? Maybe I missed some mana at the beginning there. Oh, you aren't a goblin, are you? You're not a goblin. I might die here. So this goblin matron gets something gross. Swing Gang, maybe? Squee. Squee doesn't really make infinite mana, though, right? The spells cost 2 more to cast. That seems like an error. Oh, I bet I miscounted because of the one reduced cost from the Goblin Anarchaeomancer. Oh no. Okay, so this is not a video editing error. I was sitting there for about a minute trying to figure out what was going on, and then the game restarted. So this one is going to be a League on the House from Magic Online. Yikes. That's bad content. So this hand has 2 artifacts. It doesn't really do anything. Also, my opponent still has 13 cards in exile. I don't know. Okay, sorry. Well, a lot of this will be edited out for you, but I'm chatting with the opponent right now, trying to figure out what we want to do. Okay. All right. I'm going to be mulliganing this hand. It just doesn't do anything. This second hand has the potential to get a God Pharaoh statue, so I think I'm going to go ahead and keep it. Alright, land into Ignoble Hierarch. Oh, another new card. Oh, looks like I don't get to play Magic and my opponent does. Maybe I can redo all my stops and it'll work. You know what? This isn't worth it for me. I'm just going to concede this one and file for compensation. Okay, round, I think this is 4 now. I'm keeping a hand that can turn 2 Mystic Forge, but we might actually be able to turn 1 Thought Monitor depending on what our draw looks like. Oh, Urza's Saga. So this starts out as a land. We are probably playing a pseudo mirror of some kind, not an actual mirror. I can get rid of my upkeep stop. I don't need that. Okay. I think I just go for a turn 2, whatchamacallit, Mystic Forge. Does that involve my Soul Land? Maybe we can just start out on... Yeah, actually, let's start on Darksteel Citadel. Because my Thoughtcast is cheap enough to actually just cast. Chalice. Ooh, do I Chalice on 0? I probably just Chalice on 0. A little weird because I have Mystic Forge, but my opponent is also an Affinity deck. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and Chalice on 0. It's weird. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. If I cast this Thoughtcast, it takes me off of Metalcraft. My Mox Opal is temporarily off, and that means that I might not Mystic Forge next turn. I believe that I am going to wait to cast this card. Alright, so the second stage of this allows my opponent to go and create constructs. 2 and tap this to create a construct with power and toughness equal to the number of artifacts you control. And it looks like that's just going to be their turn. Okay, Frogmite. Frogmite, get in there. How do I want to do this Mystic Forge? I think I want to do it off the Soul Land. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, let's do this off the Soul Land. Yeah. Mystic Forge. Classic. That's fine. This is what we got. You cost 1. So you also cost 1. But you give me a chance to actually put the Mystic Enforcer into play as well. Or you can have your 2/2. You still cost 1. I don't need a Grim Monolith at this stage of the game. I'm going to go ahead and just exile that. I do want another Thought Monitor. That's turn for me. And now my opponent will probably make another construct in response. Now they're both 3/3s, and then they get to tutor for something. Specifically, just to talk about this, it tutors for something with exactly CMC 0 or 1. Okay, so that got a land. They get an Arcbound Ravager. Sure. Oh, and this hit play too. The Zimmer Wasp. If a modular triggered ability would put 1 or more +1/+1 counters on a creature you control, but that many +1. Modular. Okay, cool. You fly. Oh, thank God you don't fly. Cool. Oh shit. For 1 white you fly. I don't like that. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 artifacts. I think I keep my Frogmite in play this turn. Gives me the greatest chance of going ham next turn. But I think my opponent comes out ahead as the aggro version of the deck. So let's start by playing a new Thought Monitor. Draw 2 cards. A new Mystic Forge. That doesn't do me any good. Let's just junk that card. I think that's worth a life. I can get more blue mana. You're free now. Play Seat. Play Thoughtcast. Bridge doesn't do me any good. This Mox Opal gets countered. I think my opponent just came out too far ahead here. Like, my opponent has 2 6/6s, a flyer, plus the modular things. Urza Saga was just really good. I think if I had gotten my God Pharaoh statue in play, maybe that could have stopped some of what my opponent was doing. But I lost a little velocity to my own Chalice. I don't think I concede, but I think the damage is done. I'm going to set a stop on my upkeep, though, just in case. Oh no, what is this? Oh, a Walking Ballista? That's very good. Well, I'm going to hit the F6 button, and we're going to see how bad this turn is. I haven't figured out how bad this turn is, but it's bad. Yeah, these are 8/8s. Okay. And if I try to trade, like, the modular shit happens, yeah, I'm so dead. I would need to just have the absolute Nutter Butters combo turn with Mystic Forge. Also, am I dead? 1, 2, 3. Oh god, I might just be dead. 1, 2, 3. Laser. So, yeah. That's 10. Holy fuck. Yeah, okay. Just damn. I thought I was doing something degenerate. Alright. I do not want Thorn. And I do not want Chalice. I would like... I want these for sure. And then Sorcerous Spyglass, Ratchet Bomb are interesting. So I guess the next question is, like, do I actually want to transmute Artifact for this God Pharaoh statue? I think it's a reasonable plan on the play and completely unreasonable on the draw. One issue with it, though, is that, like, Urza's Saga is a land in one of their finishers, and it can still be played through God Pharaoh statue. So maybe I junk that and then play these 4 cards. It's kind of mutually assured destruction, but my opponent has more stuff at, like, say, CMC 2 that I might be able to get rid of while keeping some of my 7-drops. I have a really hard to evaluate opening hand here. So I have 3 mana on turn 1, which could be Nettle Cyst, and then I probably get Frogmite and Sorcerous Spyglass on turn 2, but then I'm taking 1 billion damage off my own Ancient Tomb since it's my only persistent mana source. I think this one has to go back. What about this one? So Thoughtcast and Thought Monitor are what I'm working towards. I'll just play you on turn 1. Yeah, I'll keep this. I have 1. Assuming I throw the Spyglass back, I have 1, 2, 3 artifacts. Thoughtcast will cost 2. Then we can work towards Thought Monitor. I think that's fine. I have to remember to remove this upkeep stop when I don't need it. Alright. Petal. Opal. I think we just go ahead and go Bridge. I could sacrifice the Lotus Petal here for Thoughtcast, but then that shuts off Ox Opal, so I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm just going to wait till next turn. Alright, let's see if my opponent's start is more broken than mine. Glimmer Wasp. Is that it? That's not bad if that's it. Okay, cool. So, 1, 2, 3. The Thoughtcast costs 2 currently. Do I want to use Ancient Tomb mana? I'm unsure. I think I do. I think I want to leave open the possibility of getting more shit into play this turn. Alright, so I still have 3 artifacts. And I have 3 mana, so that's 6 total. That doesn't quite get to this, but I can Thoughtcast again. Let's just try to fill up ye old hand. Frogmite. Frogmite could cost 1 mana and replace Lotus Petal. I need a few more cheap cards here to just, like, string off 3 7-drops in the same turn. I think I'm just going to pass. Plains from the opponent? Into Esper Sentinel. Okay, cool. I respect that. The Emery. That's definitely scary. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna take 1 here. Then I'm gonna need to do something broken here. Alright, artifact count is up to 4. That means Frogmite is free. Artifact count is up to 5. That means Thought Monitor costs 2. Let's go 1, 2. That means these 7-drops now cost 1. These 7-drops now cost 1. These 7-drops are now free. Fast. Fast. Oh, I've already played my land, so I can't Mystic Forge. I can, however, Thoughtcast. Sure. You get a shock. Awkward. I mean, that was a really good turn, though. I am okay with how things stand there. Okay, Urza Saga has arrived. My opponent controls 1, 2, 3. If they make a creature next turn, that'll be 4. There's also this Emery. The Emery is very real. Arcbound Ravager, also real. Like, Ravager Ballista is on the menu. Opponent also has Disenchants in their deck for the mirror. Okay, they're going ham too. But no attacks from the opponent. Free card? I think I tap Ancient Tomb? Sure, I'll pay. I think I'm gonna do one of these numbers. Esper Sentinel is only the first spell each turn, so that's totally fine. Oh, baby. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, Sorcerer's Spyglass is actually a pretty sick hit. You're free. Ooh, new Mox Opal. Yes. We'll keep this Mox Opal. I haven't played a land yet. Exile that. Try to just keep going as hard as I can. Yes. So I can make a big. I also have, like, Ratchet Bomb and Sorcerer's Spyglass. I think I start with this Sorcerer's Spyglass and try to shut off either Ravager or Urza Saga and go from there. I also have Ratchet Bomb. Ratchet Bomb on 0 blows up Ravager and Stonecoil Serpent, which is pretty sick. And this is a pretty potent, like, 1-2 punch that'll probably come from nowhere. All right, Nettle Cyst and Sigh. Neat. Okay, so I'm gonna name Arcbound Ravager, I believe. I could also just name Walking Ballista here. Arcbound Ravager really messes with combat in some weird ways, though. I think I'm gonna name Ravager. And then I think I'm gonna go ahead and go to my second main phase after just turning all these creatures sideways. I don't think I'm in any danger of dying. I think my opponent is in danger of dying. I don't think I let them know about the Ratchet Bomb until after combat. Possible some of these creatures just jump block, which would be suboptimal. Actually, one of those creatures being a 2/2 or... No, this being a 3/3 would be awkward for my attacks. I'm going to send in the troops. Attack all. Math is for the blockers. I'll let my opponent figure this one out. Okay, looks like we're getting 2 chumps here. And my opponent will take 6. Ravager, trigger, put something on Stonecoil Serpent. That's fine. Now I'm going to go to my second main phase. And I believe I'm just going to go ahead and go Ancient Tomb, Ratchet Bomb, and just immediately nuke this. I'm the beatdown here, and just denying my opponent a blocker as well as a mana probably just wins this match. Well, this game. We're going to go to a game 3. I don't think I have any options to adjust here. I'm just going to submit the deck that I submitted for the last game. My 7-card hand here is just absolute garbage. What about this 6-card hand? This one can Ratchet Bomb away a small board. It has a Dismember. It has a Mystic Forge for the late game. This is not a great hand. This is not a broken hand. This is a controlling hand, and I would prefer a broken hand, but I'm going to keep this and pitch this Spyglass. I'm going to require some love from the top of my library, or just an absolute savage Ratchet Bomb blowout. Okay, so Urza Saga into, I don't even know the name of this card. Zabaz the Glimmer Wasp? The Glimmer Wasp. So real talk, do I just dismember that card? Like, it's modular. My opponent gets value out of it being alive. If I dismember that, it's harder for my opponent to enable Metalcraft and things like that. Yeah, I don't think I want to run into some of the fringe scenarios that can happen. I'm just going to go ahead and dismember that. It is one of the worst dismembers I have ever cast, but I'm going to stand by it. Urza Saga ticks up. Damn it! I didn't want them to have Ancient Tomb. Well, this Ratchet Bomb is solid. I think I need to play this bridge tapped in order to play Mystic Forge next turn. I think that means I don't cast Ratchet Bomb this turn. Yeah, I believe I don't cast Ratchet Bomb this turn to guarantee. Well, I could just cast... Weird spot. Maybe. No, I think I am going to play Ratchet Bomb. It's a little weird, because I telegraphed this. But I think I just, like, stop my opponent from creating a bunch of power. I don't take a hit on my turn. And then... Hold on. When does this trigger in draw step? Draw step? Main phase? I haven't played with these enough to know, to remember exactly when they trigger. I guess it's main. Okay, yeah. So now my opponent's floating the mana. That's fine. But I don't want to blow my Ratchet Bomb prior to them, like, going and tapping that. Retrofitter Foundry, solid. I have another Affinity list sketched up, and I have that as my one-of to find with Urza Saga as well. Ravager. Ravager's awkward. Also, losing my Lotus Petal here is a little awkward too. I should not have played out Lotus Petal if Ratchet Bomb was part of the plan. Loose. Alright. It is what it is. The mistake was made. Goodbye, stuff. Yeah, I really wish I didn't play out that Petal. I'm not going to beat myself up over it, but it was a mistake that might cost me playing a Mystic Forge for one turn. And one turn seems to be huge in this match. Is that it? That's not bad if that's it. Yep. That cost me playing Mystic Forge this turn. They lovey. Alright. A Nettle Cyst, that's big. It's a Batter Skull-sized creature for 1 less mana. Will only get bigger. Alright, Opal's good. 1, 2, 3, 4. Mystic Forge. I do not want another Mystic Forge. That can go. Ratchet Bomb is Deece. Weird, but Deece. I'll happily draw that next turn. And I'll take a 4/4. The Retrofitter Foundry just making 1/1s that are artifacts grows this, so I can't actually trade with this in combat. Oh, another Ravager. Well, now the combat math is all sorts of fucked up. Oh, and in case you're not aware of this little change, the Germ is now Phyrexian. For, like, Plague Engineer sorts of reasons. That's relevant. Okay, my opponent is attacking with a 5/5. I'm going to take this. If they want to go all in via Arcbound Ravager, I'll let them hit me for 1 billion. Alright. Thoughtcast. Well, I can't cast that off the top. That's awkward. Let's, I guess, go this way. Go Ratchet Bomb. I'll sack it. I'll make my opponent do some little things here before I give them more information about what's potentially going on with the rest of my turn. Oh, just no action? But Ravager, though. But Ravager, though. That's bad. Need to set another upkeep stop. If I'm still alive, then. I might not be alive, then. It's Mystic Forge that I tried to go all in on is not seeming better than just flooping more creatures into play. At least in this matchup. Elsewhere, that's a very different story. Alright, my opponent is going to combat. Okay, they're attacking with both. So they can make a dude. Then they have 3 things to sack. So I think they're putting themselves in a position where they can just go all in on Ravager. If I block. So they go 2, tap this, that puts them to 10. Sack 1, 2, token, 4. They create a large creature. Otherwise, this is only 5 damage coming in. I'm not sure whether or not I want them to go all in on one creature. Maybe I do. Maybe I do. 1 Ravager is easier to deal with than 2 Ravagers. And if my opponent goes all in on this creature that's being blocked here, then that means I'm not taking damage this turn. Also, why did you not make the thing? I think my opponent is trying out Affinity for the first time. Like, they missed 2 different Retrofitter Foundry activations. Super relevant. Okay, well, that certainly beats me. Well, I guess not 100%. I could rip hotter than the sun, but I'm taking 5 damage this turn. If my opponent can play any other things, I die. It's for Sentinel and just any other artifact. Yep, okay. I will concede there. My opponent missed some stuff, but so did I. Fair is fair. GG's. Okay, round 5. Let's see what we can do to this league. This is probably a keep. I guess, like, the big question is, like, am I going to turn 1 Chalice off Darksteel Citadel and Lotus Petal, or am I going to play more conservatively and then on turn 2 and Frogmite for 1 mana, then Thoughtcast instead? Either way, I think I keep this hand. Alright, so now I have to choose. I think I am just going to cast the Chalice on 1. There's some portion of the games here that it just wins. My opponent is F6, so they're maybe not a blue deck, but I feel committed to the line at this point since I didn't play out my tapped land. Scalding Tarn? Oh, our blue deck just didn't have a counterspell. Sucks to be you, friend. Alright, let's undo that stop. So I have 1, 2, 3. Let's get this into play, because I need it to cast Thoughtcast. Frogmite is 1 mana. Lockpiece into win condition. Eat your heart out, presumably blue-red Delver. You can daze my Frogmite if you want. I'm, like, so good with that. Yep, that's fine. I did not play around that intentionally, because it's more important to get Thoughtcast going. The island comes back. Lotus Petal. Also, Godpharaoh statue is, like, law levels of good. Alright, so I have 4 artifacts already, so that's already reduced the cost to 1. So I'm not going to play out my land. I could hit another tapped land. Did not hit another tapped land. I did hit another Thoughtcast, though. This time I will play out the land. No, I don't need to play around Spell Pierce. Shit, like, let's go. Thoughtcast. Oh, a second Chalice. I'd probably cast that. I can get dazed again, but, like, whatever. Alright, so now we have an insurance policy, so, like, that shit is staying in play, and 1 Brazen Borrower sort of effect isn't going to knock it out. The other option was to cast the second Chalice on 2, but eh. Anamorphose. Are we playing against some sort of Phoenix deck, maybe? Okay, well, we'll find out later. Could be Prowess as well. I want to play this Mystic Forge around a Daze. That card's really important. I'm just going to go ahead and Thoughtcast here. Alright, that's a free threat. I'll play my tapped land after this, and then next turn I get Mystic Forge around Daze. Wasteland. Well, I have 4 indestructible lands. Get owned. Next turn I can play Godpharaoh Statue around Daze. That's cool, huh? I guess I can go ahead and attack. My artifact count is already high enough that I'm not super concerned about anything that can happen here. Alright, down to 16, and then let's do the Mystic Forge thing. The question is, like, how do I do it? I think I do it playing Ancient Tomb to play around double Daze. That's very unlikely given that my opponent used one already, but I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. There is like a hard cast Force of Negation sort of scenario that could happen here. Alright, Force of Will, pitching Ponder. That's fine. That's turn. I'm somewhat unlikely to get Wastelanded. Famous last words, I guess. I was going to say, like, because the difference between 4 and 6 mana is probably pretty small. Oh, I see. They just had another. I think their Wasteland timing was suboptimal there. So I can transmute Artifact using Frogmite. Or I can, like, convert a second Chalice into something else. Normally, you know, I'd be thinking about the Godpharaoh statue, but it happens to just be in my hand. I can also just sacrifice Seat of the Synod and then turn it into something else. What is that something, though? That I'm a little unsure about. Oh, I just turned into a Mystic Forge? God, that's fucking... No, I can't turn into a Mystic Forge, because I have 2 mana to cast the Transmute Artifact, and then I have 3 mana remaining. I can turn it into Grim Monolith or Thorn of Amethyst. Those aren't bad. Thorn's cute. I'll probably just turn it into Grim Monolith and try to stick Godpharaoh statue. This is just a really weird way of trying to stabilize my mana. Okay. Cast Transmute Artifact. Oh, actually, I can sacrifice Frogmite and then go up to 7. Or my opponent can just say no. That's fine too. Alright, what do you got? Expressive Iteration. That's a totally respectable Magic card, but I don't know how much it actually accomplishes. You hit a land drop, and... Okay. That is a play you are allowed to make in the game Magic the Gathering. I would like to cast Godpharaoh statue. I am not going to do so around Daze. Rewarded. Alright, so my opponent takes 2 from the Frogmite, and then another 1 from Godpharaoh's statue. This is pretty disgusting. Right, and my opponent has conceded. Manamorphose is a little weird. I haven't figured out exactly why that's in the deck yet. We'll probably figure it out later. What do I want to do in terms of sideboarding versus Delver? I want Ratchet Bomb. How do I feel about the Transmute Artifacts? My opponent, like, countered them. I feel like the Godpharaoh statue on the draw is a little sketch, and is, like, totally legit on the play. I'm not 100% sure, though. Maybe these go down. Like, these out. That gets Ratchet Bomb Dismember in. I would like to get these in as well. I think the Thorn effects are not particularly good on the draw. This is still 62, so I'll have to trim 2 cards. Maybe just some of the 7-drops. Maybe a Grim Monolith. Let's... Yeah, it's like really hard to untap this. Let's maybe trim one of these, and that gives us 7 cards boarded in. I think that's reasonable. And then when I'm on the play, I can consider Transmute Artifact for Godpharaoh statue again. I just think on the draw, it's like this doesn't win the game once my opponent's threats are already in play. I think I like this. Okay, this opening hand doesn't really do anything. So I go Darksteel Citadel, Lotus Petal, which can enable a Frogmite, and then I don't have mana for this. I can't get to the 7-drops. I'm going to go ahead and mulligan. Okay, what about this one? Ancient Tomb, Mox Opal, Grim Monolith, 3 mana, Frogmite, Metalcraft is on. Hand's okay. It has a Dismember for a Ragavan. I'm not, like, stoked about this hand, and there's a lot of different ways that it can go wrong, from counterspells to land destruction, but I think I'm going to keep this one rather than go down another card. Alright. Let's start on Yield Mox Opal. Resolves, Ancient Tomb, for Monolith. Resolves. Okay, so I don't have Metalcraft yet. I could Frogmite. Frogmite turns on Mox Opal, which is cool. Actually, let's go ahead and do that. If I Frogmite, that turns on Mox Opal, which lets me Thoughtcast for 2 mana. I think that overall makes this worth doing. This can just get dazed. Did not get dazed. In which case, I will play out a Lotus Petal. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 artifacts. My 5th mana of 7, so that doesn't quite do it on its own. I'll call it the turn there. But I've made it so that a Wasteland alone doesn't cripple me. Fetching. Oh my gosh, it's a volcanic island. Crazy. Null Rod. Alright. Well, that's not good for me. I don't have blue mana anymore. Go Gadget 2/2. I don't know that we're getting our opponent down from this high. My start was fine, but Null Rod came down just 1 turn too early for me to respond appropriately. Yep, bash for 2, call it a turn. And notably, like, Ratchet Bomb is not normally my answer to this sort of stuff, but Null Rod stops Ratchet Bomb. This is what happens after Affinity has a good weekend and people start trying to adapt to it. This is some of the quickest adaptation I've ever seen, though. Alright. Manamorphose into Ponder. Island. Stormwing Entity. Is this really better than everything else we can be doing with how many just batshit insane cards this deck gets to play? Like, is this worth Manamorphosing for? I feel like the answer is no. Alright. Land. Frogmite. This stings if this gets countered, but I don't have too many options in terms of my play patterns right now, so I will be going for it. Alright. Get in there, little buddies. Word on the street is that Affinity crapped on Delver pretty hard over the weekend, which is probably why we're seeing such a swift response in terms of sideboard cards. Another Manamorphose. Sure. Wasteland, yep. I mean, that's fine, but you gotta put a threat into play. Otherwise, I will just hit you. I will continue to make these artifact land drops, primarily because they make my 7 drops cheaper. My 7 drops are currently free, but I don't have the blue mana to cast this one, because all this stuff is off. Yep, okay. Opponent could not make any play. They might just die with a Null Rod in play to a pair of frogs. That would be a fitting end to this league, huh? Just sexy old Frogmite, just bashing in, doing the Affinity thing. A Delver. I play another artifact land into Null Rod. I assume Frogmite's hit for 4, then, like, this Misty Rainforest is off. Flips to a Braid. I mean, a Braid's pretty good. And then it's just land pass. Sure. I mean, I will crash in and force you to trade your Delver. I am good with that. This takes Delver and a Braid off the table. Actually, am I good with that? No, I'm good with that. Like, I want the Delver to be traded away before my opponent is able to, like, just find another Lightning Bolt for my other Frogmite, and then just start attacking in with the Delver. I'd rather have them use a Braid and Delver this turn. I have a bunch of, like, shitty little creatures in this deck that can come into play. I mean, this is the sort of situation that Expressive Iteration is very good in. Alright, a Stormwing Entity. Sure. But all I'm doing right now is sitting there, like, going, like, thank God this isn't a Ragavan. How much do you cost? You cost 2 currently. That's fine. I can't play out these bonus Mox Opals for mana or anything, so I'll just be passing the turn. Oh, another Expressive Iteration. Lucky. Brainstorm in exile. Brainstorm gets cast. New Delver. Pick 5. That's fine. So this makes Mirror Enforcer 1 cheaper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So not really worth playing at this turn. I can wait till next turn. Delver flips to Brainstorm. Brainstorm triggers Prowess. Lightning Bolt, does that just kill me? Yes, that just kills me. Frogmite damn near got there. Opponent got to 1. Okay, now what do I think about like Thorns and God Pharaoh statues now when I'm on the play? They're fine. Like it is a plan. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to follow that plan or not though. Like the Transmute artifacts are very, very, very good if they resolve. And the Thorns are fine at stopping this whole like Stormwing entity sort of situation. That said, just getting out of the gates blisteringly fast or going into Thought Monitors is pretty good too. I think a lot of the time if I just put a couple of 4/4s into play, that beats my opponent. I think I'm not going to play Transmute? Question mark? Like, it was good in game 1. I'm not sure if it's still good in the post-sideboard games. It's hard to say. Okay. So I play Artifact Land tapped on turn 1. Turn 2, I go Ancient Tomb into Frogmite. This hand is kind of medium looking, but like I have a Ratchet Bomb for an early threat. I think I still keep this question mark. My opponent's taking 1 mulligan. And I'm just going to play my land and pass the turn. Like maybe I need a faster hand than this, like just out of pure respect for Null Rods. I don't know how many my opponent is playing. Ragavan. So I can work on Ratchet Bomb towards that. I can go Darksteel Citadel, and then that's 4 effective mana towards a Frogmite. I think that's fine. What about Ratchet Bomb? If I go Ancient Tomb, with 2 artifacts in play, I'm 1 mana short of Frogmiting as well. I think I'd rather make my opponent answer the Frogmite. And then this doesn't open me up to Wastelands either. Alright. Frogmite, we will remember you after you die. Be it in combat or to Lightning Bolt. Or to a Braid. Or to a Braid. But like if a Braid is hitting Frogmite instead of a real card, I'm good with that. My deck also just has like so many whiffs for them with Ragavan. Yeah, okay, so Mystic Forge has been taken out of my deck. Alright, what's the turn look like? I can Frogmite for 1 mana, and then Thoughtcast. That's probably gotta be good. Work towards making these as cheap as possible. You straight up just force a will to Frogmite. Is placing a lot of value in Ragavan, for sure. Do I want to Thoughtcast? I think I just want to play Ratchet Bomb. Like, they're going all in on this Ragavan. I will act appropriately. I'm just going to charge this now, because I want to be thinking about Stifle. And I want to be able to F6 my opponent's turn, if I'm being totally honest. I think my opponent might have just gone all in on a monkey. And we'll see if it works out for them. Guess I need to pop out this zone. A Mox Opal. Which, oddly enough, produces mana because they have 2 treasures right now. Aggressive Iteration is legit. Feeling a Lightning Bolt. Gonna chuck it out my face. I respect it. Grim Monolith. So I think I'm gonna start the turn with Thoughtcast while I still have 4 artifacts in play. It has resolved. Alright, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4. This can be 5. Grim Monolith can be 6. Confirming here. Yeah, this still costs 2. This makes it cost 1 and just also gets the Grim Monolith into play for the future. Go ahead and cast this. Alright, my opponent has Force of Willed my 4/4. That's fine. I will now Ratchet Bomb away your Ragavan. Actually, do I want to Dismember it? Nah, because I can cast Dismember for colored mana later. I think I'm just good with this for a turn. So my opponent and I are both on basically 0 gas. They get cantrips and expressive iteration, and I get stupid large bodies. Exhibit A, stupid large body. Cast. 2 mana, 4/4. Yeah. So this is a 4-turn clock. I have Dismember for my opponent's creature, and my opponent has thrown cards just kind of like willy-nilly into the things that I've been playing. Like, I think they Force a Will to Frogmite and Lightning Bolted a Frogmite. and now they're kind of just out of resources. I also get to untap Grim Monolith in this turn cycle if I don't have to cast Dismember, which is legit. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright. Thoughtcast is cool. I don't need to do that pre-combat for basically any reason, unless I hit Nettle Cyst exactly. Okay, I will do it pre-combat. Another Thoughtcast. I will do that pre-combat as well. Thought Monitor. Well, guess we're doing... Well, I think I'm starting to get into the range where I need to, like, not be thinking about, like, going for lethal with a Nettle Cyst and just continuing to play the game that beats my opponent. This puts them to 8. They have no creatures in play. Is this where I start thinking about Chalice? I think I start with Chalice here. So let's start with a Chalice on 1. Excuse me. Let's start with a Chalice on 1. 1, 2, done. This stops, like, Brainstorm and Lightning Bolts and a bunch of other things that I care about. Lightning Bolt me, sure. Lightning Bolt sure doesn't answer a 4/4 though, huh? Frogmite. Where is your Null Rod now? This produces blue mana for Thought Monitor. Give me them cards. More Chalices, huh? I think I'm willing to take 2 to play a Chalice on 2. 1, 2, 2, Chalice on 2. I think that will basically eliminate all of my opponent's outs. There's still technically some cards in their deck that are castable, like Stormwing Entity. But, yeah. Okay. So, we won 2 matches. It's really hard to say exactly how this league went because we have to file for reimbursement because of the bugs in the round versus food chain. But this was a deck that has a lot of potential, I think. I am not sure if this is the optimal way to build it. And by this, I mean with Mystic Forge specifically. I don't know if this card advantage engine is actually any better than playing something that just gets the opponent dead. So for example, this is the Affinity deck list that I had built prior to seeing anything from this weekend. Let me try to get more of this on screen here. So many cards. Okay. So like this was the Affinity deck list that I built after taking a look at what some other people were doing. This is prior to the challenge event from the last weekend, but this is what I had built. And I think that having like just a bunch of Nettle Cysts and Platings and Urza Saga, as well as maybe Vault Scourge to gain some life back, I think this sort of thing where you just have a higher density of threats might be better than what we were doing here. But Transmute for God Pharaoh's statue was a really cool backdoor win that just absolutely locked out some of our opponents, especially if they're on combo. Like maybe this can be a sideboard package that you can play in a traditional Affinity deck. I'm not 100% sure. I do wonder if there's just too many 7-drops here, and that it's like some of the Nettle Cysts should be in the main deck over maybe a couple of the Mirror Enforcers or something like that. I also don't know if I should have been playing Thorns just as another card to help get to this 7. So I took out 3 2-mana artifacts from this list in order to fit in the Transmute Artifacts and God Pharaoh statues. Like normally these would have been 3 more Thorns. And because I did this, it made it a little harder to get to this endgame. So those are my thoughts if you want to kind of give this a try on your own. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please click the like button. That sort of thing helps out a lot. If you regularly enjoy my content, click that subscribe button. Working towards another huge subscriber goal, and we'll be very happy when I hit it. Have a great rest of the day, and if you have something spicy you want to see, donation queue is always open.